What else? Tank, plank, frank, hank, sank, blank. Did you see how easy you guys read all of these words? Well, for me to read it, not you. Well, that's because you know. No, not spring. That's an ang sound, right? That's because you know how to read. That's because you know how to read the word families. So reading the word families are very important. Okay, they're very important. Now there are 37 of them. All right. Do you guys think you guys can remember all 37 of them? Definitely not, right? But if you can remember the most common word family, it would be really great in your pronunciation. 37 of them, okay? 37 of them. Now, I'm going to give you the most common one. The most common one that I have encountered are these are the most common one, okay? These are the most common one. So if I know, holy shit, I mean, never mind. Holy Buddha. I'm just kidding. But yeah, those are, let me give you all examples of this, okay? Let's start with the first one. Let's start with the first one. If I know how to pronounce this, ack, I know that it is a short vowel sound. I know that it is a short vowel sound. Now, how do I know that the word ack is a short vowel sound? Can anybody tell me? How do I know that? Well, first thing, there's only one vowel, correct? One vowel, and it ends in a consonant. Ends in a consonant, correct? So wouldn't the word back be a pattern called CVC or CVCC, right? Those are the two patterns that we know they are short vowels. Correct? Correct? Are you guys still with me? Mọi người có lost không? Có cần trên lặp lại không? Có cần trên lặp lại không? Right? We know that back is a short A, right? Well, the reason why we know it's a short A, well, that means there's only one vowel sound. One vowel in the word, right? And it also ends in a consonant, correct? Now, if it ends in a consonant, what is that called? What's the name? What is it called? Guys, you got to be active in this class. If you're not active, I can't continue. Got to be active. We call that a closed what? There's 99 of you. There's 99 of you in here, so I expect some answers. Got to be active. We call that a closed syllable, correct? Very good, Susu. A closed syllable, right? Okay, good job. Good job. Now let's move on to the next one. Ain. Notice the ain sound. How many vowels are in here? How many vowels are in here? There's two vowels. Okay? But it is a closed syllable, but there's two vowels. This will take over the sound, okay? Usually, if it ends in a closed syllable, it is a short vowel sound. How in this sound, there is a double vowel sounds. Now, what are the rules when it comes to double vowel sound? Anybody knows the rules for double vowel sound? If it ends in a closed syllable, but in the word has two vowels, right? It will go to the double vowel sounds. Who knows the rule in the double vowel sounds? Very simple. I've talked about it before. Double vowel sound. Double vowel sound in a word. Take a wild guess. Do you pronounce it's a long vowel? How do we know it is a long vowel? How do we know if it's a long vowel? Right? Now here's the rule for double vowel sounds. Double vowel sounds equals long. You pronounce the first vowel and not the second one. Easy, right? So AI will have a long A sound, right? You pronounce the first vowel, but not the I. So for example, AI you pronounce as in the word brain. Did you hear the A sound in there? Brain. Brain. Did you hear the A sound? Ain. Brain. Now, how do we know this word is a long vowel? Well, it's very simple, right? It is a closed syllable word. However, there's a double vowel in there. So you would separate this word like this, right? We know that the BR, we know, yes, like in the word rain. Correct. If you know how to pronounce the word brain, you can pronounce the word rain, right? Let me repeat. Although this word is a closed syllable, it has a double vowel sound. So it is a long vowel sound, not a short vowel sound, because of the double vowel sound. Double vowel rules are that the first vowel will carry the long sound and the second one is silent. Double vowel sounds carries the rule the first vowel is long and the second vowel is silent. So in the word brain, it is a long vowel sound, long A sound, right? Now, how do we know that? Well, that's because there's a two vowels in there, right? The first vowel will carry the long and the I is silent. So how do we separate this? How do we learn how to pronounce it? Remember what I told you? These rules only apply to one syllable, okay? These rules only apply to one syllable. So to separate the word is always take out whether it is one consonant in the beginning or two consonant letter and begins with the first vowel. So to separate the word brain, we separate it as BR plus AI. So if you know how to pronounce this, ain, and you know how to pronounce the BR, which is a consonant what? Consonant blend. It is brain. Did you hear how I dissect the sound? This is a method that is very easy for those of you who are at the beginner level to learn how to pronounce the sound, right? Instead of pronouncing B and then R and then A and then I and then N, right? But you are making it more simpler, right? You're making more simpler. You're separating it into two sound. Okay, blend sounds are. We don't just call that blend sound. We call that vì blend sound nó có vowel blends và consonant blend. So you have to be specific. You have to say it's a consonant blend sound. Okay? Có nghĩa là hai cái phụ âm nó ghép lại. Okay? Hai cái phụ âm nó ghép lại, nó sẽ có một cái nó sẽ equal một cái sound riêng của nó. For example, BR mình đâu có đọc là br, đúng không? Mình đâu có đọc là cái chữ này là brain, nhưng mà mình đọc là brain, đúng không? Thì âm BR thì mình đọc thế nào? Nó là một cái consonant blend. Thì khi mà mình đọc cái âm đó, cái phụ âm của nó đó, nó phải đi liền chung với nhau. Ok, mình trộn nó vào. Ok, thì mình đọc là burr. Bạn nghe không? Bạn vừa nghe được âm b và âm nhưng mà trên không có đọc là brain, right? or I don't say ground. I don't say ground, but I say ground, right? So you bring the sound together. So that's called a consonant blend. Okay? Consonant blends, you hear the two consonant in the sound, right? But if you have a consonant digraph, you will not hear the two consonant sound. You will only hear one sound. It will create its own sound. Okay? Now what are consonant digraph? I'll talk to you guys about that later. Okay? But for today, we're going to focus on how do we read a one syllable word and how do we distinguish whether if it is a long vowel or a short vowel. Alright? Trong lớp của Jen không có muốn thấy cái chữ khó và cũng không muốn nghe các bạn nói cái chữ khó, ok? Tại vì Jen sẽ ở đây giúp các bạn, ok? I know it is hard, ok? I know is it hard? You don't have to follow the American accent, ông già. You don't have to. You can follow accent you want to. You can follow any accent you want to. But as long as you read the word correctly. You don't have to pronounce like me, yeah. Okay? You don't have to. Okay? You don't have to. Whichever way works for you, keep it. Whichever way works for you, keep it. Because what works for someone doesn't mean it worked for you. So whatever works for you, you keep that technique. But when you need help, just know that ESE is always here to help you guys. Okay? We're always here to help you guys. But anyways, so let's go back with our lesson. Let's not get sidetracked. Remember in my class, we don't get sidetracked in this class because time is very important, right? It's important to you and it's important to me. All right. So how do we know brain is a long vowel? Well, well, let me give you another word. Okay, let me give you another word. Can you guys separate the word plain? How do I know how to pronounce this word? Very good. Very good, lòng người. Okay. Now, how do we pronounce the PL? Well, that is paw. Paw, ain, plain. Plain, right? So this word plain has the same pronunciation as the word plain. Okay? Right? The same pronunciation. All right? Because they're both long A's and they both ends with an N and they both begin with a PL. Now, how do we know the differences? Well, that's by looking at the words. We know they have different meanings, correct? Okay. Happy birthday, fearless boy. Happy birthday em. Đây là năm đầu chị chúc sinh nhật ai em được. Chúc mừng sinh nhật của em ha. Ok. Chúc mừng sinh nhật của em nha. Ok. Chúc em một ngày rất là vui vẻ với gia đình và với bạn bè. It's your birthday, isn't it? I saw it on Facebook. It's your birthday. Isn't it your birthday? Oh, there is a mistake? Oh, shoot. It says it's his birthday, and I also... Uh-oh. Never mind. Well, let me change the banner then. I saw it on Facebook. It has a little reminder. It said it was your birthday. All right. Well, anyways, so what are consonant digraph? We'll talk about that later. Okay, we'll talk about that later because I don't want to throw in so much informations at once. So we'll just stick with word families. Okay. So let me give you guys another example out of this list. Out of all this list, what about the word? What about I'd? I'd. I'd. It is a long or short vowel? I'd. Long. Okay. No, it's a long. Can you guys give me some example and I'll show you guys how to distinguish it. It's a long vowel sound. Give me some example. Ride. Okay, let's take that. Do you guys recall when I talked about the magical E, right? Why the E at the end of the word is so important? Why is it so important? Well, if it's silent, then why does it have to be there? Well, the E at the end of the word is there for a reason. Even though anytime you see an E at the end of the word, you know that will signal that the vowel before the E, okay, the vowel before the E will be a long vowel. Now let me repeat. Anytime you see the E at the end of the word, that will be your clue that the vowel before the E will be a long vowel sound. So if I give you any words that start with the word family I'd, notice I, not I. I said I with a long I sound, okay? With a long I sound, okay? So whenever you see I'd, and if you don't remember the magical E rules, I call that the magical E rule, but it's actually, the real name is a silent E, right? I just call it the magical E because it is so magical to the point that you look at a word and you know that it's a long vowel right away because that's what it's for. Okay? Because that's what it's for. So yeah.